Yo, what is going on, guys? I wanted to hop on here just for a couple minutes and talk about my take on the CoD versus Battlefield situation. From what I see online, it's a lot of brain dead takes like Battlefield is for grown men, Call of Duty is for boys. That is pretty dumb in my. They're both video games, and it just depends on what you want more. From my perspective, what I got going on, I did not know if I'd be playing Call of Duty or Battlefield more this year, but as time went on and I got other things going on, so I clock out of work, I got to choose a game to play. I know I want a game that I have to compete in, I have to try, but I always end up choosing Battlefield, and I think it's a couple of things that go into that. On the one hand, I just think it feels like a more pure gaming experience, like what we used to have. You get a wide range of players. Every lobby feels different. Obviously, some players are not so great. Others, they give you a run for your money. It feels more authentic, I think, in that sense. In terms of how the games feel, I was a big fan. I've said this before. I was a big fan of Black Ops 6 gunplay. The movement, I thought it felt like butter. I thought, it should stay exactly like that. But then I got on Black Ops 7, and I felt like it was this weird in between, super fast and super slow. Like the sprint speed, tactical sprint's not the default. You got to equip lightweight, but then the slide is really fast. You got the wall run, jump, and it's just in this weird middle ground this year, and it's been hard for me to get accustomed to. I don't really feel like I'm that great at Black Ops 7. I think I'm okay at it, but I definitely think I was better at Black Ops 6. Whereas Battlefield 6, and people can get mad at me for sliding and bunny hopping in that game, but I think it feels good. Obviously, it's more clunky than Call of Duty. I prefer the Black Ops 6 smooth movement overall, but for a Battlefield game, I guess I wouldn't want it to be like that. So no, I think the movement in Battlefield 6 feels good. It's rewarding. It you can win some gunfights with it. I wouldn't want them to go the Call of Duty route because it's just a different game. I like how the guns feel. Obviously, the bloom gets a little annoying, but I don't know. It just feels a lot more pure when you log on and you start playing a couple games. So, and the other thing is that the Battlefield 6 just rewards you more for being an above average FPS player than Call of Duty would. I'm not one to hate on skill based matchmaking, and I know that there are playlists in BO7 that have almost entirely mitigated that. But if you're above average at Battlefield 6, at least in my experience, you can top frag most games. If you have a teammate in Red Sec, they'll notice. I don't know, you win some 1v2s, and it's like, all right, man, I see you, and that's a little more rewarding than anything. I feel like anything you'd get in Call of Duty. It feels more like back in the day where you could get in, kind of. I don't want to say not pub stomp, but you just are rewarded more if you are playing well and you're not thrown into a lobby right after that. As an attempt to stomp you, and that leads into the next point, which is that the freedom you have with choosing your loadout is much greater in Battlefield. There's a much less strict meta, I guess you could say, because if you think about it, if you're playing Call of Duty and everyone is basically exactly as good as you are, then every attachment, everything you have on, it all matters because you need that 1 millisecond to win the gunfight. Whereas I feel like I could throw on just about any gun in Battlefield. I guess leave out the no attachment, no sight guns that you pick up in Red Set because those are pretty tough to use. But just about any loadout in Battlefield 6, and you can be competitive. You can win some gunfights. So there's a lot more freedom in just playing how you want to play instead of having to follow a meta or else suffering the consequences. So yeah, a lot of it comes down to the freedom you have in the game. It is a much less grueling and punishing experience. I guess you could also throw in the atmosphere. I'm not a huge fan of the futuristic style of Black Ops. And then if you want to go even deeper, I guess some stuff that I tend to ignore, but the campaign, I haven't touched really either campaign. But from what I've seen of the Black Ops campaign, they've just lost the plot to a degree that is, we all know Call of Duty's heart and soul is gone, and Battlefield at least has a little bit of that left. The last thing I'll say is I don't like the projecting. I kind of alluded to this, but if you like Battlefield, then play Battlefield. If you like Call of Duty, play Call of Duty. But this whole like I'm a grown man, so I play Battlefield. It's like, what are we even talking about? Like they're both video games. It's just one is going to suit one type of person, another one, it just depends on what you're looking for. I think from a pure gaming experience, Battlefield is more enjoyable at this point in time, but I'm not going to crap on Call of Duty. I still want to keep playing it. I want to not forget how to play it. That's just where I'm at. And then each side is trying to convince the other that their game is dead. Just play the game you want to play. And also don't get mad if you see Battlefield players using certain types of movement and say go back to Call of Duty. It's like, all right, obviously the game is not going to be the same way it was 15 years ago when we were playing Battlefield 3. Like, people are going to get better, movement's going to change. So don't get mad if someone's using some tech that you haven't. I mean, you don't have to learn how to do these things, but when they're used on you, you can't really throw a fit because the game's different, you know. I played Battlefield 3. I played Battlefield 4 when I was a kid, and I was running around. I probably wasn't very good. Black Ops 6 was my first-person shooter since Call of Duty Ghosts because I took that hiatus. But with Black Ops 6, I had to learn how to play a modern FPS game. I had to adapt. That's just how it is. No one's forcing you to learn how to play that way. But if you don't want to, then you just got to take the L and not really get mad at people for it. So that's where I'm at. I like both games, but Battlefield's been a better time for me. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are if you have a different perspective. But yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day.